Could it be that just a few things make all the difference? This is message 476, and this message is dedicated to the memory of Alfredo Pareto. Alfredo Pareto was an Italian economist. I wish I had a name that was as fun to say as Alfredo Pareto. All the way back in 1897, Alfredo Pareto uncovered that a small fraction of the Italian people owned most of the land. The percentage was 80% of the land was owned by only 20% of the population. In fact, 20% of the population controlled 80% of the wealth and income. His research led him to see if this division applied to other countries and in different time periods, which it did. Then he started applying it to other areas of his life, such as his garden, where he found 20% of his pea pods produced 80% of the harvest. Since then, many researchers have looked for this trend in all sorts of areas, and researchers have found the principle applies to almost everything in life. Thus, coining the term the Pareto Principle. For example, 20% of your carpet probably gets 80% of the wear. 20% of the streets account for 80% of the traffic. 20% of beer drinkers consume 80% of the beer. As Richard Cook in his book, The 80-20 Principle wrote, quote, 20% of what we do leads to 80% of the results, but 80% of what we do leads to only 20%. We are wasting 80% of our time on low-value outcomes. Here's the application for you. What are the few things that make the biggest difference for you? If you take the big categories of your life, what are the main actions that drive the results? I think you'll find that life can be simplified when you realize that there are some basic activities that are the key drivers of your happiness and satisfaction.